leadership. Brothers and sisters, it was a vision of the Honorable Prime Minister that while we acknowledge 100 days of having been elected into government, the Prime Minister said, we must be accountable to the people who elected us into government. And that is why we are reporting to you tonight, whether it's in the sphere of national security. Give it up for our brother Wayne Sturge, and now joining him, Roger Alexander, the member for Tunapuna. Whether it's our sister who finds herself in the Ministry of Works and Infrastructure like Eli Zakur from 4M, the indomitable Jerlene John. One of the most important men, and listen, I'm making a plug tonight. I'm making a plug for Couva South and public utilities. That is the Minister of Finance, our chairman, Mr. Dave Tanku. But when the Honorable Prime Minister told us, serve the people, she told us, she said, listen, I want to hear what you have done. Show me what you have done. I don't want to hear what you have to say. Tell me what you have done. Brothers and sisters, today, you look across the length and breadth of Trinidad and Tobago, and you see your government hard at work. First, tonight, I want to report to you as your leader of government business in the Parliament of the Republic of Trinidad and Tobago. The first bill to be brought after 10 years, the Honorable Prime Minister and myself will go to the Parliament ever so often, pleading with the PNM, please put the welfare of our children first. One of our speakers told us tonight, and again the PNMers get vexed when we say two things. When we call Kamla Pasabi Sessa the Queen of Trinidad and Tobago, which she is royal, she is the Queen of Trinidad and Tobago. But also when we say she's the mother of the nation, only a mother knows the pain to see a child lying in a hospital bed and not being able to do anything for them. Prime Minister Kamla Pasabi Sessa, the first bill, aided and abetted by our Attorney General, the man who's taking the war to the PNM, Mr. John Jeremy, said the Children's Life Fund Amendment Bill. First bill in Parliament. The second bill, saving thousands of jobs by rescinding the Trinidad and Tobago Revenue Authority. We have now strengthened the Board of Inland Revenue, therefore increasing our revenue generating and collection. Brothers and sisters, they didn't like it. We didn't take them on. Because on April 28th, you didn't give us one seat. You gave us 26 as the UNC, and you gave us 2 with our brothers from Tobago. Give it up for our brothers, our 2 brothers in the Parliament from Tobago. They're looking on. One of them is here tonight with us. But the Prime Minister's pension bill, ensuring that we safeguarded the taxpayers of the Republic of Trinidad and Tobago, ensuring that whether you served 1 day, you served 100 days, your pension will be determined by how long you serve and not who you know and who know you. Days for that type of politics are long over. But brothers and sisters, the PNM has moved from the People's National Movement to the PIP. You hear that? From the PNM to the PIP. You see, it's no longer the People's National Movement, it's the PIP, penny in pajamas. PIP, penny in pajamas. I tell you, we beg and we bad out here in the UNC. When you touch our political leader, you touch every single one of us. For 10 years, she had nothing to say on crime. She sat in the cabinet for 5 years. They gave her a big ambassador walk in New York. Had nothing to say on crime. Had nothing to say on the state of the country, your roads, your social security. Today she wants to talk about Kamla asleep at the wheel, and you cannot find Kamla. I will tell you, the political leader is very much present. She's very much working, and we are getting the job done. Brothers and sisters, that is why tonight I can tell you in WASA, the first 100 days of the WASA evolution plan marked a transformative period of accelerated action, strategic alignment, and measurable progress across the authority. Under the leadership of the Executive Evolution Plan, this is what we have done in just short 3 months. We rescinded the WASA Transformation Plan on May 15th, saving over 3,000 jobs inside of WASA. 1,200 daily pay jobs, 1,700 monthly pay jobs. That is what you voted us into office to do. We reorganized the executive structure where they had 36 people hand-selected by the PNM. We have now reduced that to 9 persons, saving the authority $30 million annually. Listen, Prime Minister is telling me, she said, you're doing good. There's water in Pinal, there's water in Debe, there's water in Kumoto, there's water in Kuba South, but you must do better. You must do better. We have commissioned the Pluck Road 1,600-mile main improving level of service from 1 in 9 days. This is what we inherited. The people of Pinal are just as important as the people in Westmoreland. And we moved it from 1 in 9 days to 3 days per week to 9,000 customers in Separia, in Pinal, in Barakpur. Michelle, where are you? In Maruga Tableland, where you were not getting water for over a month. Things have improved. But the Prime Minister said, when the UNC wins, everybody wins. The ramp-up of production of the Navet water treatment plant from 17.48 to 19.60. The IMGD. In addition to approximately 0.34 IMGD from the Carapal wells from where Down Minister Elder is, the number 4 and number 5 has added approximately 2.46 IMGD to the supply zone. Maracas up in the north, we did not forget you. We were not working in South Trinidad alone like the PNM. Maracas Bay communities, including Grand Fond, Fishing Village, Hamilton Trace, moved from 2 days in every 2 weeks to 5 days per week now. That is performance. That is delivery. That is your United National Congress government. We have increased water supply and distribution through infrastructural changes in many parts of the country. We have kicked off and continued the WASA facilities and community tours with engagement, partnered with several of the regional corporations, improved customer confidence from community outreach program, as evidenced by an additional $4.5 million in revenue collection, underscoring its effectiveness. What that then means is that we are moving WASA out of the red, ensuring that we are making collections based on the supply that you are receiving in your taps. The establishment of wastewater service division. The establishment, which is mandated to reduce the risk of discharge fees and improve response to sewer system overflows. Saving from the avoidance of a $35 million US discharge fee from Beetham. The former government sat on their hands. The Prime Minister said, get out there and work. We were able to save that Beetham wastewater management project a fee of $35 million US by our immediate intervention over the last week. I want to thank the same staff that we inherited from WASA. I want to thank them for the productivity levels that we are seeing because of the change in management style inside of WASA. Brothers and sisters, many of you are asking when you will get lights on your ground. I can tell you we have approved the lights in the ground for Toko Sandy Grande. Are you in the house? We have approved 6 grounds in the constituency of Separia. We have approved grounds for lighting recreation use in the constituency of Cuba South. You have suffered for too long. We have improved it in the constituency of La Joqueta Talparo. Our brother, Roger Alexander, I want to say how very proud I was yesterday when you stood alongside myself, Minister Elder Palsek Sam. We went there in 24 hours or less. When the abbot of the monastery at Mount St. Benedict told us the abbey almost caught on fire because for 2 years they were knocking at the door of the government and they got no response. We were there. Your government is present, directed by the Honorable Prime Minister to find ourselves there and bring relief to that situation. I want to thank Roger and others. On Thursday, we have not forgotten our young people, because when the UNC wins, everybody wins. 600 young people will receive an internship based on the strategic direction of the Honorable Prime Minister. Prime Minister said TSCT can't be about cricket. It can't be about carnival. All that is good. But you must also invest in the future of our young people. On Thursday at 1 p.m., the Prime Minister has invited all 600 interns to the Prime Minister's residence and diplomatic center, where she will launch that program, empowering 600 young, brilliant minds, giving them opportunity. So when we tell you we are not about a country of grass cutters, we are about a country of creating real, tangible benefit and opportunity. Brothers and sisters, before I go tonight, I want to make one last point, and it has to do with CPEP. I want to say a few words, but I want to give Faris Al-Rawi some advice. I want to tell him, move, Satan, move. Move. Move, Satan, move. We are in government now, and let us pass. We will do the job of the people. Tonight, I want to tell you that I hold a document in my hand. For all the PNM trolls and others who are saying, oh, they ain't call no police. They ain't call no investigation. Tonight I can confirm to you, and Faris Al-Rawi, put it in your pipe and smoke it. I can confirm to you that the Registrar and Marshal of the Supreme Court Judiciary of the Republic of Trinidad and Tobago has indicated on today's date at 2:38 p.m. Please note that the order to provide the documents to the Director of Public Prosecutions was compiled on Friday, 8 August. Acknowledgement of receipt was received on the said day from the DPP's Secretariat. We have said to you, the Prime Minister has said to you, we have court clothes, and we put on them court clothes, and we will see you in court. We'll see you in court. Brothers and sisters, please note that the order to provide the documents to the Director of Public Prosecutions was compiled on Friday. It went to the DPP's Secretariat. The DPP acknowledged receipt of it. This means that the fraud perpetuated on CPEP, which caused it to extend over 300 contracts at a whopping cost of $1.4 billion without cabinet approval, will now be the subject of a criminal investigation. Let me remind you what the facts are in this matter. Former chairman of CPEP, PNM Chairman Joel Edwards, submitted a board note dated 23 April 2025, asking the board to ratify a cabinet decision for the extension of all CPEP contracts. The board note reads as follows. The matter for ratification of the Board of Directors of the CPEP Company Limited is the extension of contracts to core contractors, key personnel, and operational services. In and around March 2025, the CEO and chairman engaged in discussions which proposed the extension of contracts with the intention to ensure business continuity across key operations within the company. Following these discussions, the chairman advised that the proposal, this is the PNM chairman, follow carefully, advised that the proposal was considered by cabinet, the PNM cabinet, in 2017, and that cabinet had agreed to the proposed extension of contracts across the company. Brothers and sisters, we have searched all the cabinet documents. The Prime Minister tells you, you hear a lie? You hear a lie? You hear a lie? That is lie. In light of the Cabinet's decision, the board is asked to ratify the implementation of extensions to CPEP core contractors, key personnel and operational services for a maximum period of 3 years. That was the recommendation. CEO Keith Eddy, who served under the PNM and who is serving under our administration, gave clear and compelling evidence to the court that Chairman Joel Edwards had categorically stated, hear this one, that the PNM chairman had categorically stated that line minister, who was the line minister? Faris Al-Rawi, had told him that cabinet had approved the extension of the contracts. Edwards signed the board note, which was drafted on his instruction and clearly records this fact. Brothers and sisters, Edwards now claims it was an error. So they get caught with their pants down, and they now saying it was what? An error. And that a new board note was supposed to have been prepared and circulated. He says he's searching his records, but he cannot, poor fella. He's searching his records, but he cannot find that new board note. Mind you, this is not documents from 10 years ago, but rather documents from a week before the general election. 1 week before the general election, they can't find the documents. He, however, maintains that the board note was technically correct because of a 2017 cabinet decision, and cleverly claims that he did not have any conversations with Al-Rawi about a recent cabinet decision. Brothers and sisters, there's a lot more that we can say about this. But I've noticed and I've taken note on our lawyers. Let's give it up for former Attorney General, great lawyer Anna Ram-Logan. Shout out to Anna tonight for bringing home that victory in the CPEP matter. You see, we have taken note that former Attorney General Faris Al-Rawi, the line minister, is depending on a 27 cabinet note, where he's saying these were the recommendations and cabinet agreed and so on. 2017 cabinet note. But you see, for those of us who spend plenty time in the cabinet, instead of recusing ourselves because we have rentals and other interests, we pay attention to what's going on in the cabinet. Because when you pass a matter in the cabinet, there's also, the next week, a cabinet minute confirming what you've passed. We will speak more about this, but I can tell you categorically, former Attorney General Al-Rawi is depending on a 2017 cabinet note. I want to tell him, go and read the cabinet minute. As a present to him, I will send him a copy of the cabinet minute, because it is not reflective of what the note is saying. Instead, the note that and minute that Al-Rawi is depending on would have sent home over 7,000 workers of CPEP in 2017. He tell you that. That they were intending on sending home over 7,000 CPEP workers. That they were intending on sending home over 200 CPEP contractors. They are only telling you half the story. But as I told you tonight, the reason why we are here is the Honorable Prime Minister told us, stand up and be accountable to the people of Trinidad and Tobago. Brothers and sisters, will you stand with us? Will you stand with our great Prime Minister? Will you stand with your party? Let me see you standing, your thousands here assembled in Cooperstown tonight. Forward ever, backward never. Forward ever, backward never. When the UNC wins, everybody. When the UNC wins, everybody. When the UNC wins, everybody. I thank you. God bless you. Sound of soca. Big band soca.
Just now, I got a text message saying Minister Parat is over 10 minutes beyond his time. You need to stop him. But I know which battles to fight. That is one battle we are fighting. That is my line, Minister. And with a delivery like that, it would have been wicked of me to stop him while he was in mid-flight. We were taken off by a pilot. So the pilot took us off. Minister Parrott took us to just beyond or just before cruising altitude. So now we are at the point where the real pilot of this UNC plane will now take command of this plane and take us to our destination. Cover South. I want you to assist Swapi and I in welcoming the greatest Prime Minister this country has ever seen, the mother of this nation, the queen of the land, the Honorable Kamla Prasad Bisesa SC. Let's hear for Swapi.
Yeah. June. UNC. Yeah. When UNC wins, everybody wins. Wave the flags, there we go. This is our life. This is our culture. We are a people coming together. This is our place. This is our land. We have a plan. Let's take a stand, yeah. If you feel it in your heart and you feel it in your veins, let us all unite and rise. Rise. Time to form a new start. Spread love, no more pain. Let us all unite and rise. Wave the flags. Here we go, say. Let's make it happen, Trinidad. Make it happen, Tobago. When UNC wins, everybody wins. Make it happen, let's be wise. This is right. We will rise, rise, rise. UNC, this is the time to get we country back to we family. Every creed and race is up to you and me. Now is the time. Make a decision. UNC, we have the vision. Take control. Mr. Jack, Anti-Gam, Godisha, and everybody say, if you feel it in your heart and you feel it in your face, let us all unite and rise, rise. Time to form a new start. Spread love, no more pain. Let us all unite and rise, rise. Let's make it happen, Trinidad. Make it happen, Tobago. When UNC wins, everybody wins. Make it happen, let's be wise. Low. I just want to wave them flags, so pump it up, pump it up. This is our home, and UNC will make things right. Yeah. Low. If you love Anti-Gamla, from the left to the right, in the center, pump it up. And everybody say, if you use it right, use it. Use it, use it. If you feel it in your heart and you feel it in your faith, let us all unite and rise, rise. Time to form a new start. Spread love, no more pain. Let us all unite and rise, rise.
Keep your blood
Let's make it
going.
happen, Trinidad. Make it happen,
Keep your blood
Tobago.
going.
UNC to the universe. Make it happen, let's be wise. This is right. We will rise, rise.
Ladies and gentlemen, the Honorable Kamla Prasad Bisesa.
Wow, thank you. Give it up to Swapi, please. Thank you, Swapi. Thank you so much. As you know, today is World Steel Pan Day. So I want you to give it up to the group has joined us. Barry, thank you for organizing. We wish them a very happy World Steel Pan Day. And to all you beautiful people here tonight, friends and family of the UNCs, I say, good evening. Big it up for Jack Warner, man. I haven't seen him for a while. All the MPs, ministers are here with us this evening. Local government personnel, activists, I say again, gathered here in large numbers. And of course, all those who are locked on to various streaming devices, we say again, good evening and welcome to 100 Days Plus. Tonight, our report is not just 100 days, it is 100 days plus. Because after 100 days, it'll be 101, 2, 3, 4, 5, 365 days together. We will rise together. We will. So, beloved rank and file members of the UNC, citizens of TNT joining us across the many streaming platforms, I say again, good night to one and all. Thank you for your ongoing support. Thank you for your love. Thank you for your strength. And just thank you for being alive today. Give praise and thanks to the good Lord for you and those of your family members who are still here with us. Just over 100 years ago, 100 days ago, all of you in our nation, you placed your trust in me and the UNC coalition. You put us back into government with an overwhelming mandate. And so we went to work from the very first day, tirelessly in your service. My ministers, I thank them who spoke tonight for sharing some of the things they've done. 100 days seems like a short time, but they've done so much, so give it up again to our team. We have a great team. I don't know if the AG will forgive me, but he just whispered to me something. Can I say it? Sure. He said, I sit at your cabinet table, Madam Prime Minister. And I used to sit at a cabinet table with another Prime Minister. He said, but the men and women you have in your cabinet, they are second to none. It is the best team that you have put together. So, in our first 100 days, we have begun to turn the tide calmly, lawfully, decisively, protecting families, restoring fairness, strengthening safety, and opening doors of opportunity. You're going a bit too fast. Thank you. Cindy's helping me with the prompter, but she's going faster than I can speak. So I'm asking her to please slow down. So we did our work. We are opening doors of opportunity. And I want to tell you something. 100 days. The amount that has been done by my government. I want you to remember, if you take 9 years, I'll be fair and say 9 years of the former administration, and you multiply that by 365 days, 9 years, 3,285 days of that destructive government. We are here for 100 days, not the 3,000 plus. And so much has been done, and so much more is left to be done. Over the past week, I mandated that every minister, every MP submit a comprehensive report of their first 100 days to my desk, detailing the work they did, the achievements, what they delivered, projects launched, and the timelines ahead. And I say thank to them. Each minister will be accountable directly to the population for their performance over that 100 days. No one, and I say no one, is going to be allowed to hide behind me if they do not perform. Every man and woman in this government will have to face you, will have to face our citizens and explain their actions or their inactions. I am done carrying water for everyone else. You wanted a job, they wanted a job, then do your job. I call upon you, do your jobs. Do your jobs. And if you would ask yourself how TNT reached our current state, where it is listed as one of the world's most dangerous countries, one of the answers would be criminal enterprise was funded to the tune of billions of dollars. Criminal enterprise, billions of dollars. Consider that billions of dollars over many years went straight into the hands of criminals, gangs, corrupt politicians, and corrupt businessmen. Today, it is a well-entrenched mafia holding our nation to ransom. This is further worsened by the past administration's open and unbridled embrace of Venezuelan immigrants who poured across our borders, land and sea and air, and numbered amongst those were gang members, human traffickers, pimps, high-powered weaponry, a well-organized criminal enterprise. That is what they allowed for the last 10 years. There was no attempt, little or no attempt by our predecessors to sift through immigrants who were legitimately fleeing conditions in Venezuela from those who came here with criminal intent. The stoppage of CPEP and the recalibration of URP for investigation and review has unearthed a resistance that reaches far and wide into the deep state. The resistance from the belly of the underworld has begun, and they intend to utilize every device, every connection, every resource at their disposal to counter the dismantling of this criminal enterprise. Understand that. They will hire lawyers. They will use their political proxies. They will call in favors from influential business people and their media contacts. And they will resort to going after anyone who leads or is involved in this crackdown, as they can see the beginning of the end has begun. They have already made threats to Khadija, to Firoz, to Barry. But I say never fear, because Kamala is here. Never fear. Never fear. Reform has real human costs. I will not pretend this is painless, and I will not leave you to carry it alone. The purpose is clear. We must end state-sponsored criminality. We must rebuild and provide sustainable, dignified work with good wages. We must protect the many from the few who profit from chaos. In URP, we have suspended offenders. We have implemented new oversight and tightened protocols to ensure that the program remains honest. Our approach is practical and humane. Immediate cushioning we will provide. We'll fast-track eligibility for social assistance grants and temporary wage support. We must build bridges back to work. There must be priority placement into public and private jobs and training to upgrade skills or start small businesses. We must reorganize. That is a cleanup. We must have reorganized programs. There must be merit and not muscle. There must be community value, not political patronage. We must have transparent rosters and audits of all these programs that each can have equal benefits. That is this cleanup. Short-term hardship, maybe, but we must do it to prevent long-term harm. We must provide a clear path back to safety, to fairness, to dignity for honest workers. I make no apology for saying we have become a nation of grass cutters. Some people became upset about that. But if people are shouting the loudest, ask them if they will send their child to cut grass. Ask them if they want their grandchildren cutting grass. And that is what we in the UNC is about, to provide honest, sustainable work for as many as we can. As many as we can. Barry mentioned the internship we are doing for hundreds of students through the state enterprise, TSTT. My vision is that every one of these enterprises, including the private sector businesses, should bring in our young ones for internships during the vacation when they're home for months. So they'll know what is work, they'll know what is discipline, and above all, they will have hope for a better life when they graduate. There are those who say the state of emergency is something designed to track people. Yes, it is. It is designed to hunt down and take out the criminals from harming you. That's what it's about. There was a real threat. A state of emergency, elsewhere it is known as a state of exception. It is necessary because these are indeed exceptional circumstances we find ourselves in. You hear all kinds of criticism about it, mainly from those who either have an agenda or have a vested interest in seeing the situation remain the same. You'll hear about the trampling of rights as we work to remove the criminal elements. Then what about your rights? What about the fundamental rights of law-abiding citizens of Trinidad and Tobago? So we have the SOE, a state of exceptional circumstances, to make sure that you, law-abiding citizens, that you are safe and secure, and your families are safe. You will listen to them. They scream from high heaven, wailing and gnashing their teeth that we are going after specific sectors of the community and how they are not being afforded their rights. Well, as Barry told you, I always say, you hear lying? That is lying. Yes, that is lying. We are about safeguarding the law-abiding citizens of our country. And therefore, if some rights have to be, conscripted, they're not taken away. They still have access to the courts. They still have access to the lawyers. They still got their family members to visit them. Those who are locked behind bars, they're not losing rights. Their rights remain. They're conscripted rights, but the rights of the majority far outbalance the criminal elements in our country. So listen, all of you who live a law-abiding life, you have nothing to fear. Law-abiding citizens have nothing to fear. But those bent on living a life of crime will feel the wrath of the population because you have had enough and you are now empowered by a government with the political will, determination, and competence to deal with the scourge upon our society. So while we can all expect the beginning of the end of crime in TNT, to meet heavy resistance, I ask you to have the toughness. I ask you to have the stability against the battery of attacks that criminals will come with their brutishness and vicious enterprises, the likes of which you have never seen. We will remain strong. We will remain firm. And will you stand with us? Will you stand your ground against the criminals and against criminal enterprise in our land? Understand, it is necessary to reclaim your safe space. It took 5 years for El Salvador to transform from one of the most dangerous countries in the Western Hemisphere to what it is today, one of the safest in the Western Hemisphere. It took them 5 years. On the other hand, a country like Ecuador, which was once one of the safest and most peaceful places in Latin America, has now become one of the most dangerous in just 1 year. So understand, which path do we choose? Which roadway do we follow? We campaigned on a simple pledge: safety first. In our first 100 days, we acted precisely, lawfully, and for you, the people of our land. We used a scalpel, not a sledgehammer. We used a narrow, time-bound state of emergency to disrupt organized violence at its source, backed by Parliament and the courts. Regulations were published on July 18 of this year, 2025. Detention facilities were designated as Tetron Barracks and Strawberries Bay. And between July 26 and August 3rd, 38 preventive detention orders signed with the guidance of the AG, the Minister of Homeland Security, the Minister of Justice, and the Minister of Defense. These orders were put in place to preempt violent crimes before they reached your streets. The question you ask is the only one that matters. Are you safer today? Are you safer today? And that answer has to be yes, because the facts tell us yes. According to the latest data, homicides, murders, I think Minister Serge tried to use his last 2 minutes to give us the murder numbers in the PNM Times. Today, just about 100 days in office, the murder rate is down by 34%. These are the facts. Facts do not lie. Facts do not lie. We did as we promised in so many ways. Other speakers have shared with you. Legislatively, we had a short window of time for the Parliament before the Parliament went into recess. We didn't lose it. We used it. We used it, as Barry has shared with us, to bring the first bill. I'm so proud. In 2010, my first bill was a Children's Life Fund. And in 2025, when you returned me, my first bill in the Parliament, again, was to amend the Children's Life Fund. So several pieces of legislation in those few short days. And when we go back out in September, when the Parliament recess ends, we have laws, legislation already being drafted, having consultations, stand your ground laws, as you know. But the office of the CPC is very busy in the AG's office drafting more legislation, because we need the laws to amend or to create new laws to properly govern in the best interest of everyone. I kept my promise. I split the old super Ministry of National Security into several ministries, as you now know. Homeland Security, Roger Alexander, give him a round of applause. Ministry of Defense, Minister Sturge. Ministry of Justice, Devish Miraj. Ministry of Legal Affairs, Saddam Hussein. And of course, much more that we did. We installed for the first time in a decade maybe, a commissioner of police as a substantive commissioner, not an acting commissioner, not picked from a hat or thrown into a dump, but he was the #1 recommendee from the Police Service Commission. And we congratulate him for his work. He is very hardworking, and he will get the job done, I have no doubt. There was no politics in that. We installed a commissioner of police. We have an acting prisons commissioner. We have a reconstituted firearm appeal board. We cut off corrupted state programs funding and fueling gangs. 800 SRPs absorbed into the TTPS. 280 auxiliaries into the fire service, and we have much more to do. What this means for you is a clear downward trend in violent crime. We promised to fight crime. We kept that promise, and we just got started. We will continue to do so. We kept that promise. Let me turn now to the economy. We also campaigned on the economy. We inherited a stalled economy and a squeezed household budget. We did not complain. We got to work. Energy back on the rise. Early engagement with operators in the energy sector has resulted in about 10% increase in oil output since we came into government. We have had discussions with Shell regarding Manatee gas, and that is underway to increase supply and revenues. An expertise-driven team is mapping a phased restart of the Point-to-Pay refinery to create jobs foreign exchange, and fuel security. The Minister of Energy rescued for you $7 billion. We corrected a problematic production sharing contract clause before first oil was produced to the tune of $7 billion that the former government let it slip. The energy tide is turning, but I want to thank my Minister of Planning, Minister of Finance, and others. We initiated structured dialogues with the IFC, the World Bank, and IDB, targeting US $2 to $5 billion over 3 years for roads, for water, for hospitals, for schools, and for climate resilience, and for jobs, of course. You know that when we said we would do these things, the naysayers, our detractors, where are you getting the money? Well, I'm showing you where we'll get the money, because nobody wanted to do business with you. The world is now coming to Trinidad and Tobago to do business, because TNT is open for business. The energy tide, as I say, is turning, and it's turning in your favor. For the first time since 2003, that's about 22 years ago, for the first time, ExxonMobil is coming back to Trinidad and Tobago. We agreed on a prudent phase plan to explore a newly defined ultra-deepwater area known as UD1, ultra-deepwater 1, 7 blocks off the east coast of Trinidad, 2,000 to 3,000 meters deep water. USD1 sits northwest of Guyana's Starbrook block. In plain terms, this represents a significant new frontier that can supply our LNG and petrochemical plants, create good jobs, embrace and enhance our foreign exchange reserves. At the exact completion, tomorrow marks, in fact, the completion of the 100 days in office. Tomorrow. Because the cabinet was sworn in a day after, 2 days after the April 28 election. So, tomorrow, August 12th, exactly 100 days in office, my government will host the largest publicly traded oil and gas company in the world tomorrow, right here in TNT. Tomorrow, Tuesday, August 12th, 2025, we will sign a multi-billion-dollar agreement for ultra-deep-sea drilling in our territorial waters. That area has remained unexplored forever, and now they carry enormous potential for capturing hydrocarbon resources. The message of this signing tomorrow is that TNT is open for business, and investor confidence has returned and is returning to Trinidad and Tobago. ExxonMobil is projected to incur expenditure at $42.5 million US in this first phase of the project. And in the event of success, the project development costs could range from US $16.4 billion to US $21.7 billion right here in TNT. The benefits arising from this project would be enormous, as deep water exploration has the potential to deliver large volumes at high margins, more than offsetting the handicap of tying up a lot of technical capital and technical challenges. So I tell you tonight, from a resource owner's perspective, the potential revenue contribution would be substantial. And likewise, the in-country spend would benefit our local economy. What this means for you is very simple. in the coming months, in the coming years, more decent jobs from exploration to services, from Point Lisas to the Southland, more reliable fuel and power, supporting lower costs for transport, for businesses and households, stronger foreign exchange to stabilize prices, and support all the essentials that we need to import. So I tell you, there's some who say we should not completely depend on our oil and gas, our energy sector, on the hydrocarbons. But to them I say, our nation has a competitive advantage in the hydrocarbons, in the energy sector, and we should exploit those resources. Don't let those people up in the north tell you, don't do hydrocarbons, because they exploited all of it, built their developed countries in the north, but we down south of the southern hemisphere, we will exploit our hydrocarbons to benefit the people of Trinidad and Tobago. We have a real plan for the refinery, not just talk. So we will protect national fuel security without wasting money. They sent me a brief recently, Minister Sobers from Foreign Affairs, on the impact of the U.S. tariffs for Trinidad and Tobago. And whilst we are addressing those in several ways, what struck me is they sent me a table containing the balance of trade between the U.S. and Trinidad and Tobago. And on that list, we are importing with hard U.S. currency items that we used to produce at the refinery. Kerosene, jet fuel, other energy products, what you put in your car. We used to produce that. Now we sell our oil and then we buy back the refined products with US dollars. That making any sense to you? We have to get that refinery going. $9 billion in kerosene we imported. $9 billion. When we were producing that here, we had jobs, we had foreign exchange coming out of the refinery. I've put a team in place, energy experts, to get to work as fast as they can. We must get our refinery working again. Confidence is being restored. TNT is open for business again, and the whole world is responding. They're seeking us out. So let's make the place safer as well. Now I see people going up on TV, and they're showing you two things. Garbage dumped. Who dumping that? Ghosts? Is it not human beings dumping in their own neighborhood? I just said to the AG, we had to get back the litter warrants and lock up those people who dumping garbage all over the country. I saw another video, a man walking outside his own front yard and saying, look at grass, look at grass, look at grass. That's in front of your own house. If you cannot clean in front of your own house, heaven help us. Some of us has become too lazy and greedy. Cut the grass in front of your own home. Dump your garbage in the beaten dump or other dumps. Don't drive up on somebody's road and dump in garbage. We are human beings in Trinidad and Tobago, not animals. So clean up your waste. And AG, get the law working. Let's get the litter ones out there. And as the AG always tells us, he says, I'm coming for you. I'm coming for you. And I'm coming for you. Whoever you may be, dumping all over the country. This is not a dump. So get your act together. So I say, in 100 days, we have begun to put the economy back in gear with discipline, with transparency, with a plan that gives priorities to the ordinary families first. We must have growth, but we must also have guardrails. There must be no reckless spending. There must be no hidden deals. There must be no surprises. Every dollar must pass the spend test for a safer, stronger, and more prosperous Trinidad and Tobago. My friends, this is how we govern. Careful with your money, bold with opportunity, and always focus on how our policy translates into everyday benefits for everyday people. Constituency service. We are a government that answers the phone, and I have a warning for any official of my government. You must give standardized service. MPs maintain weekly office hours. They conduct Saturday site visits. They utilize digital case tracking to ensure your issue doesn't get lost in a filing cabinet. We have already begun consultations and will continue. I've always told you, we listen and then we lead. We listen and then we lead. So whatever we do will be based on your feedback in our consultations. So our approach is national town halls are back. Listening before legislating. Town halls with you before Whitehall. That is my mantra. We will speak with you. Budget consultations, stand your ground consultations are ongoing. And tonight, I'm warning some persons. You know who you are. You're already cavorting with the same crooked contractors and lawyers and P&M financiers and corrupt fake elite. Get yourselves out of that now, because I will come for you. I'll come for you, and I have the AG backing me up. I will come for you. Stop it. You have already forgotten the loyal rank and file UNC people who worked hard to put you in office. Remember that. Remember that. First. You keep doing that and try to facilitate their continued corruption. I warn you, and I am not afraid. I will fire you, and I will ensure you face the courts. I will ensure we cannot replace one corrupt bunch and then Trump and follow suit. And that's why I ask you to understand we cannot complain about the ghosts in the CPAP. And then you are on our throats. You just want to replace those ghosts with your ghosts. It can't work like that. It must not work like that. It will not work like that. All will benefit. We have programs, we have plans. I give you the commitment today. I will ensure that the most vulnerable are taken care of first. That is my pledge to you tonight. The AG likes to say he will go to war with you. But if you continue that kind of behavior, patterning from the PNM, I am not going to war with you. I'll bust your head should you do it. I'll bust your head. The UNC rank and file, and I, and many, worked too hard to put us back into government. For some people to be now favoring the same corrupt, eat-a-food, fake elite. Lyman and Hyatt, Lyman, some restaurant up in town, people who would never sit at the same table with you. You are now seen in Port of Spain, sitting at those tables. Learn your lessons. They will carry you, but they will not bring you back. Consider this as a warning. Consider this as a warning tonight. If you continue, I will publicly call you out one by one in front of the UNC membership. And don't ever believe this Kamala 2.0 is not the same Kamala 1 from 2010, 2015. It's not the same. Not the same. You're dealing with a person who has learned from mistakes. And I tell you, I will not lose my pathway. And I tell you again, let us continue to put God in front and walk behind, and we will not go wrong. I assure you, this Kamala is a different Kamala. All that things that you did, some of you did, and think you get away in 2010 and 2015 will not be repeated. It seems some people have not learned anything in the last 10 years. So again, I say, this is a warning, the 100-day warning. Straighten up, fix yourself, behave yourself. Too many thousands of persons are depending on us. They gave you the job, you wanted the job, well, do the job and honor them, honor them. My friends, I want to tell you, jobs are coming your way. Do not fear. CPEP and URP and what, that is not the job for everyone. Yes, we need grass cutters. But there are jobs there for everyone. Let me tell you what has been happening in the public sector. Every minister will come to you and tell you in their ministry the number of vacancies in the public service. The PNM refused to fill those vacancies. Why? Because they wanted to handpick political friends and put them on contract for big, big money. Will not fill the vacancies. There are thousands of vacancies in the public sector. They left those jobs unfilled. Why did they do that? Because they wanted to give you make-work programs. Make-work programs, you know what? It's another kind of slavery. So when you stand and you sing free at last and it's emancipation, they were putting you into another dependency syndrome of another kind of slavery. Imagine people working in CPEP for 10 years at minimum wage. We have a mandate to fill all the vacancies across the public service, to create more meaningful jobs, to allow the average citizen to earn more, to advance your education, your skills, and careers, so you don't get stuck in a CPEP syndrome for 10 years. That puts you in an oppressed position that you have to depend on some political pappy to give you a hand down. That's not a hand up, that is a hand down to keep you forever dependent. None of the politicians and commentators speaking glowingly about URP and CPEP mention what? The low wages, the lack of job security, absence of vacation leave, absence of maternity leave, severance or union representation. That's what those jobs were. No one speaks about the starvation wages of these programs and the inability to get a loan from any institution based on working there. No one mentions the sexual exploitation of women in these programs. No one mentions the criminal activity. No one mentions the ghost gangs and the use of the program for political support. All these commentators and bleeding hearts pretending that they care. Politicians who endorse grass cutting, cleaning drains, they do so because it's not them. It is not them nor their children. Remember that? Doing that work. They like it for you and your children, not for them and their children. Remember that. That is why, that is what they want for you, your children, whilst a few of them run away with millions and billions of dollars. Remember that. The PNM gave away our country to the 1%. Remember that. The same PNM now crying for you to stay and cut grass. Same crying for you to have work on starvation wages. They gave away billions of dollars to the 1% mafia, while you and your children must cut grass. Remember that. The former Prime Minister said, not the one-day Prime Minister, the one before him, he said, the rich will get richer. Rich, don't forget, the rich will get richer. Did you know the entire Invaders Bay foreshore has been given away? Over 100 acres given away next to the airport Billions in CLICO assets given away. Billions in contracts have been gifted to a few contractors whose work has failed. Billions given away to lawyers, to accounting firms, to consultants, but you must collect a CPEP wage. That will not continue. In Caribbean Airlines, they have 86 people in their financial department. But guess what? They have spent over $60 million hiring Ernst & Young and Price Waterhouse to conduct audits. 86 people on your staff. Billions and millions being paid out like this. To date, Caribbean Airlines has not submitted an audited financial statement for the last 9 years. Do you know not one single Caribbean Airlines route is profitable? Not one route is profitable. Yet plane filling up every day, going and coming. Not one single route of Caribbean Airlines is bringing a profit. But we are spending millions of dollars there. I am giving the management of Caribbean Airlines 2 years, max. They have to sort out the mess. Otherwise, everyone there will have to look for a new job. Everyone will have to look for a new job. Your future is in your hands. No longer will we accept taxes paid by ordinary citizens, paid by teachers, paid by policemen, small enterprises. We take your money to upkeep CAL, allowing its management to receive large salaries for doing what? Failing in their jobs. Must not continue. Furthermore, my government will not continue to bail out perennially failing state enterprises. The majority of them are failing, spending billions in debt still. This cannot continue. We cannot do business like this. I ask you on the state enterprises, as boards are being put into place, do your job. Do your job, or you will have to find it all and walk. You'll be gone. There's hardly one good road in this country. If you know one, tell me, I'll go and take a drive. Hardly one good road in this country, but billions of dollars were spent. I asked for test results. I requested and received some information from Pure, but most of the work that was done failed. Nothing has been done to remediate the failed work. And they didn't even conduct proper testing on some of those last-minute jobs they were rushing to do to win elections. We have a senior technical officer working on private projects for a contractor, while the officer is overseeing the exact same job for the government. Corruption and conflict of interest in the state sector. Pure is corrupt and inefficient unit within the Ministry of Works. Some individuals at Pure appear to have a corrupt, coordinated arrangement with individuals at NIPDEC to facilitate the funneling of billions of dollars in state contracts to a favored few contractors. I've instructed the minister to address the issue and to involve the Anti-Corruption Investigations Bureau to resolve these issues once and for all. NIDCO has not sent me any test results. NIDCO appears to be amongst the most corrupt of the companies in the Ministry of Works. The work done by local contractors on the Point 14 highway has already failed and is continuing to fail. You remember Minister Mullah said like a mosquito crack was like a biscuit, a Crick's biscuit. All those millions of dollars spent on that road has failed. It is a shame and a waste of money to by these contractors on that highway. I tell you, I have instructed the minister to write to AECOM. Jack, you remember that company? You were in Ministry of Works. AECOM. They were initially contracted with respect to design of the highway. So I'm asking Minister of Works to write to them for a report on that highway to Point 14. Yes, we will complete it, but we have to get a proper report. What happened? And I want you to remember, just like they've done with the CPEP contracts, on the eve of an election, tying up the state for expenditure of $1.4 billion, and they did so fraudulently. They did the same thing with that Point 14 highway. You remember, Mr. Warner? Point 14 highway. They contracted the company OAS just a few days before the election took place. And the rest has been history there. They have given us the ministry's officers, no test results for the Komoto Highway. I requested this, I have not received it. I've instructed a review of the rates paid for the work done on that project, and I'm asking again for the test results. In another Ministry of Works division, it's a family business they're running without shame. The father is the director. The son and the son-in-law are deputy directors of that division. It's a family business. The drainage division is also deeply corrupted, with a few hand-picked contractors in control. That is why we experience annual flooding due to the deeply flawed drainage division. Hundreds of millions of dollars are squandered through overpriced rentals. 1%ers are going to the ministry and banks. They're negotiating rental contracts. They're obtaining loans. They're constructing buildings. And then they're securing contracts through sole selection. And people out here are fighting for starvation wages. Workers have to go to work every day in deplorable buildings with unfit conditions. A group of lawyers charged NGC $42 million for handling one case. I must be in the wrong profession. I should probably go back to law. Go back and do some law. $42 million for one case. And it is the same across the state enterprise sector. I talk about the Eater Food lawyers, and it's the same ones. The state companies hired consultants to advise on loans, to advise on contracts, to advise on legal and technical matters at highly inflated prices running to billions of dollars, which was wasted. Kerwin Garcia, the president's first, what is it called, AG? First, president's first husband. No, wait. No, please. She does not have a second husband, please. In Parliament, you say first something. Oh, well, you know who? The president's husband. First gentleman. First gentleman. That's the correct word. First gentleman. You all will get me in trouble, eh? Some of you all will get me into trouble on this platform. So, Mr. Garcia said, that is the experience there. Attorney of choice, NGC, Caribbean Airline, WASA, and other state entities raking in tens of millions of dollars across the board. How can that be right? That making sense? There's so many other lawyers. Why you have to take the same lawyers for everything? Spending millions and billions. The puppet PNM president has nothing to say about that. Nothing to say. The most significant theft occurred, I'll tell you, in the financial sector. The PNM government borrowed money at high interest rates from companies associated with their friends, the 1%ers, the financiers. They were borrowing at over 9% interest. So our singers are not true, Minister? 9% interest when others were offering between 3 and 4% interest. They took the 9% because who? Friends and financiers. To be paid billions by you, ordinary taxpayers. Excessive interest payments due to these flawed financial deals. So don't get tied up. Don't get fooled and misled into thinking that the government is only dealing with criminality at this level. We are going at the low end of the scale, and we are dealing with criminality at both ends of the scale. We are coming for you. You Eater Fooders at the top and financiers, we are coming for you too, on both ends. The fake elite, 1%ers. And the PNM are trying to incite you because they are also being exposed. You have no idea how greedy and wicked these people are. They want more and more while you get less and less. I tell you, the time will come. Some of them will face jail. The time is coming. The time is coming. The PNM over the last 60 years has added the most significant theft and destruction. Professor Kujo will agree with me on this point. Transfer of wealth from Afro-Trinidadian and Tobagonians masses into the hands of the 1%. They have overseen that transfer of wealth to the 1%. They have ruled for the 1% and neglected their own well-being and their own base. They raided Clico, a majority-run and maybe the only then Afro-run company, and they partitioned it out for the 1%. So when you hear Clico, understand what when they're African-run company successful, they split it up into pieces and they're busy selling it out like they're selling sweetie in a parlor. They want to sell Long Circular Mall. They want to sell the one down Trin City Mall for peanuts to their 1% friends. Under my watch, that will not happen. It's not going to happen. It will not happen. So the PNM, they feed the 1% billions, and they give citizens starvation jobs and wages. They have bankrupted their supporters. They have created a dependency syndrome to control them for political purposes, whilst at the same time, they're handing over our economy, our wealth of the nation to that 1%. That is why they attack persons like Selvin Kujo, because he speaks the truth as he sees it. They attack John Jeremy. They attack Roger Alexander. They attack Michelle Benjamin. They attack Jolene John. And they attack anybody who is a UNC and stands for the UNC. Let's give it up for these great men and women in our party. They face the worst backlash, but they are not deterred. The 1% of the PNM try to destroy any strong Afro-Trini voice, which calls them out because of their greed. But they are strong men and women who will not be cowed, who will not live in fear. They will stand up for what they see is the right thing to do. Let's give them a round of applause. Whether you're Indo-Trini, Afro-Trini, or anyone in between, we are all Trinbagonians together, one humanity. Morgan Joam used to tell me, do not see race in any face, but see the grace of God in every face. We are all humans, brothers and sisters. I will not commit the same destruction upon UNC supporters that the PNM did to their supporters. I will not allow UNC supporters to be pushed into a dependency syndrome. We must make sacrifices now to educate our children and support young adults in businesses so that they can create sustainable employment opportunities with high wages. My friends, you cannot afford to buy or build a house or a car on these make-work programs unless you're ghosting. Unless you're ghosting. That cannot happen. It's time to move on from these make-work programs. You cannot live your entire life in fear, working for starvation wages and constantly worrying. Excuse me. Constantly worrying. Just excuse me a minute. I would ask the camera if we could take the camera off you for a minute. Please. Okay, I'm getting there. I'm coming to the end. Yes, I have some more to say. So we will not do the same to my supporters or to anybody. We will not allow that dependency syndrome to continue. I said it is time to move on from them. You cannot live always with these starvation wages and so on. What are you going to do when you can't work anymore? What will happen? Because these make-work programs are a poverty trap, while a small group runs away with the billions. I will stand with the people who stood by me, and I will support them. The UNC has transformed into the most diverse, multi-ethnic party ever in the history of Trinidad and Tobago. During the campaign, I warned that there is a country beyond the lighthouse in Port of Spain. And to my friends from Port of Spain, I see Philip smiling. There is a country beyond the lighthouse, to the north, to the south, to the east, to the west. All is Trinidad and Tobago. And we must take care of everyone, everywhere. Because what happens when the UNC wins? Everybody wins. The rest of the country must not settle for scraps, while the fake elite up in the north enjoy the fat of our land. Tonight, I'm warning the boards and management of Republic Bank, First Citizens Bank, Exim Bank to sort themselves out. These institutions are not functioning in the best interests of our citizens. They operate in the interest of a few. Imagine this. This really happened. This is a true story. Imagine a 1%er walks into the office of Minister Jerlin John. He comes in with a folder with paper, and he puts the paper on the desk. And you know what is on that paper? Puts that paper and he tells her he wants land at Invaders Bay. He said he's getting a loan from Republic Bank to buy the land. Of course, at reduced discounted prices. And guess what? He's then getting a loan from the same Republic Bank to build a building. And then the same Republic Bank will rent the building from him to allow him to repay the loan and make a profit. This is a real story. That is what has been happening in secret behind closed doors under the former regime. Thank God you put us into office so we can expose them for their dealings. And this story, I tell you, I am told the same thing is happening at First Citizens Bank. There's no transparency, no fairness, just in-house deal-making. That is why I have instructed my ministers to fill all vacancies across all ministries. Fill them properly and transparently. Police Service Commission, Teaching Service Commission. Let's fill the vacancies across the service and create sustainable jobs for the people of Trinidad and Tobago. I'm told there are about 20,000 vacancies. We are working on bringing foreign investment. We're working on restarting the refinery, which will bring more jobs. So, my friends, I'm going to use our country's money to educate our children and create sustainable jobs. I will open that UWI-DB campus. We together will open that campus so more of our children will have access to tertiary level education at affordable prices, all the way from the South Peninsula down in La Brea and Point Fortin on the southeast coast coming down. They can all converge at that DB campus and don't have to come up and take spaces at St. Augustine. Let the people up on the corridor here and in the north, they will have more spaces opening to them at St. Augustine. So let the south and central people can come down to the South DB campus. We will get it done for 10 years. Out of spite, malice, wickedness, I can't find you right words. You kept that university shut. It was about 95% complete, shut down for 10 years. I tell you, the money that we make, we'll use it for laptops. I commit again today, your children will get their laptop when school reopens. I know many of you are worrying about school books. Well, let me tell you something. Yes, books are very important. The Minister of Education says they have a program. The MPs and councillors are working to help you with your books and so on. But you see that laptop? It's not just going to be a laptop to play the games that Mr. Sturge told us about. What was it? Name some of those games they play. Minecraft and blah, blah, blah. Okay? We are going to put real craft, not Minecraft, into those laptops so that the need for the books will not be as tremendous as it appears to be. You're going to get, Minister of Education is working on it, Dr. Dowlat, you're going to get work, school work on those laptops. You will be online. You will be amongst the world's best educated children. So never fear, because Kamala is here. Laptops, books, gate, safe schools, vocational training, and internships, apprenticeships, and entrepreneurship programs. We will use the money to help you grow your own businesses, to make investments, own your own property. You know, I give a story, and I'll just take a few more minutes. I give a story. When I was a child, you know, you parangers, there's people doing parang, they go from house to house. Well, because of some problems with my parents and who married who and didn't marry who, father, mother didn't like one, in-laws didn't like, and so on. I used to be moving from house to house because they were renting, and we'd go from house to house. I know what it's like. I know what it is when you don't have a home of your own. I lived through that. And thank God today, what has me here today is education. So children, as Mighty Sparrow tell us, go to school and learn. That is the only passport out of poverty. That is only the key to a better quality of life. So we'll use the money for education. A lot will be spent on education. We'll let you help you grow and own property. Let Faris and the PNM MPs, all these commentators, the 1%, tell them send their children to cut grass and clean drains. You want to send your children where? To school to learn. I want your children to achieve great things in life. I don't want them struggling from paycheck to paycheck. And so now I talk about one other place that Minister Khadija has to crack the whip. And I'm talking about the regional corporations. They must clean up their act. I'm warning the regional corporations to get their act together. Get it in order. They're not doing their jobs properly. They come to work, they sign a book, and by 10 a.m., guess what? They're going home. We cannot allow that. Then you want to create CPEP to cut grass, NGC to cut grass, HGC to cut grass. Everybody cutting grass. What are the regional corporations doing? What are you doing? A person sent me a little text message on my phone recently. You see, remember when you used to see the Port of Spain Corporation had the truck and the van, the garbage and the refuse. They're cleaning up the spaces. They were cutting grass. You had jobs for them. But this set of workers, I don't know, we've got some lazy people about now. You sign the book and by 10 o'clock you're going home. Mayor Meru, why do you allow it? Send them home. Send them home. If you want to go home, go home. But don't take your salary, keep your paycheck, and go home. If you get a job, you have to work, you have to work. Okay? They're not doing their jobs. So, all these ghost workers everywhere. No wonder countries in the state that it is in. It is throughout the system in the public service everywhere. It is there. We have people in our country. They go to work every day. They sit in traffic for hours. Nurses, doctors, private sector workers, construction workers, teachers, they go to work. They work hard. They pay their taxes. But these taxes should not be used to fund ghost gangs. Must not. These taxes must be used to improve the quality of life in your communities. So I tell you again, CPEP, URP, Highways Division, Regional Corporation, HDC, NDC. All these state companies cutting grass. It was amazing. They're all cutting grass. And people vex because I talk about cutting grass. if I don't do it, then who will? Certainly not Penny Beckles and Faris. They won't do it. Faris al-Rari, they used to call him Faris al-Rikuzal. 102 times walk out the cabinet meeting because the contract and the cabinet note was about his business. We are not there. So if these are rentals, yes, Faris are rentals, thank you. If the corporation workers cannot get their act together, do not do their jobs, do an honest day's work, I will ask the Minister of Finance to cut funding on the corporations and redirect money to other divisions to do the work. We can't have RPC, PEP highways, all of them being paid to do the same job. You know, my condolences go out to the family of the woman whose car went into the river recently in South. She could have been alive today if the corporation and the bridges unit in the ministry had been doing their jobs. Due to inaction, they created a hazardous situation marked by the absence of warning signage, overgrown bushes at the bridge entrance, weak railings lacking reflective tape. I instructed Mr. John to go immediately and put proper signage by that bridge. Too little, too late, but hopefully it will save some other lives. So that woman is now dead because some lazy persons in the corporations and a lazy government who did not fund the corporations properly. That is what happened. They were not doing their jobs. As I close, I say we are building a dream that is a safe and secure TNT. And that dream is a future where we all win, where we all succeed safely, and where we all have access to opportunities. We need to progress and prosper. I tell you, this is a future where we all look out for each other, support one another, build a society based on love for a God and love for a country. I want to encourage you to stay the course. Stay the course. I know that a house being refurbished, a house being repaired, may look messy at first and sometimes bring discomfort to those living in that house because of dust and rubber whilst the repairs are taking place. However, when that house is complete, it brings better living. It brings new opportunities. It raises the property's value. So I ask you, this is not a victory lap. We are all steps go at the starting gun. At the 100 days when that pistol fired to put us say, go, we went. We hit the ground running. This is how we will govern, with discipline, with compassion, and relentless determination. I tell you, the next 100 days and beyond will go further. Together, let us keep our nation intact. Let us keep our nation a place of peace, progress, and prosperity. And for you all, I tell you, the work has begun. The results are real. The future is ours to build together. And I remember, as I always remind you, you have had leaders before me. You will have leaders after me. But never ever will you have a leader who loves you as much as I do. May the good Lord continue to bless each and every one of you. God bless and thank you very much.
Prime Minister, we have a very special guest with us this evening, a son of the soil, international star, Dwayne Bravo, who has come to sing a song for you tonight. Dwayne.
respect.
DJ, thank you.
Auntie, Kamla,
Auntie,
Kamla,
Auntie,
Kamla.
Auntie. Let's go. Sing. Champion, 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 champion. Everybody knows say Auntie a champion. Champion, 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 champion. Everybody know. Thank you, DJ. Thank you very much. Congratulations once more. Okay. Thank you.